Hello there, you beautiful people, and welcome back to another Subpar Commander, which today is going to be taking place on Adaptive Millennium, and it's going to be a 6v6 with Team 1 on the northern side and Team 2 on the southern side. Before we get into introducing these players, I would like to kindly ask you to consider liking, subscribing, commenting, or even disliking if you disliked it, and check out the channel membership and Patreon down below. With my shilling out of the way, let's get into introducing our players, starting on the northern side with the purple Seraphim going first land. His name is Easy AI, and he is gonna be rocking this westernmost position for his team. Over to the north of him on this plateau, a little bit of the rear guard air position, we have a red Cybran who has taken to the name Lord Dungus. Over to his east, we have a yellow Cybran going first land by the name of Stumpy47. Starting off with his first land, and it seems as though he might be going for a Hydro Rush. As we move on to the blue UEF, the highest rated player in this game, and one of the only ones who wouldn't be considered a subpar commander. His name is Citrus984, and he has gone first land as a blue UEF. Over to his east, we have ourselves a pink UEF going first land by the name of Odd Nuts, and he has Odd Nuts. And over to the east of him, we have ourselves a purple Cybran going with a beautiful name, which is the Dictator. He's going to be dictating his will throughout this match, I am sure. Moving on to Team 2, starting with the pink Cybran best faction going towards the middle of the map. His name is the Kraken, and he started with his first factory being that of a land factory. To his south on the plateau air guard position, we have ourselves a red Aeon by the name of Crazy Cars, and he's rocking this curvy ACU of the Aeon today. And over to the west of him, we have a white Aeon ACU being piloted by none other than Born. Then we have ourselves a gray UEF ACU, the man, the myth, the duelist going first land, finally getting his name fixed from Testing Testy for his supposed tournament idea. He is going to be taking up this position, and he's starting off with a land build and going to go for a land spam with a mix of air units there. Moving on to the blue Cybran to the west of the duelist, we have Once Handsome going first land and picking the correct faction. And last but not least for this entire game, an orange Seraphim going first land by the name of Kashyyyk going first land. And that's all of our players introduced. Adaptive Millennium, we've seen it many a times, and since it's adaptive, the reclaim numbers change. This one, hosted probably by Once Handsome under the name of Handsome's Filthy Pleasure, has nearly 200,000 reclaim. So these players are going to get ridiculous economies super quickly. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that, see what crazy strategies these players want to go for. Overall, it's a 91% balanced game. Most of the players, with the exception of about 4 of them, are, of course, under 1,000 rating. And that means it is indeed a subpar commander, as the majority of play is going to be by our less than hardcore players, the players who aren't quite at the level of obsessing over FAF. And, gonna be interesting. Here in the middle, there's gonna be a bit of a discrepancy with the number of comms. We're gonna have Stumpy47, the only comm for Team 1 over there on the north, against the comms of both Duelist and Born here in the middle. A lot of reclaim to be grabbed, but honestly, the reclaim here almost isn't worth it, because the reclaim here is less than the reclaim you get from just reclaiming in your own base, like as a team. So yeah, fighting for the reclaim in the middle when there's this much reclaim on the field, it's a little bit irrelevant. You're always going to have enough reclaim on this map to get what you want done whenever the settings are like this. Over here to the west, Easy AI and Kashyyyk are going to be exchanging blows with each other. Easy AI got a little bit of a lead, but I'm sure if this comes to a death of either comm, both will die, as Easy AI just continues to walk forward. Decides to stop pursuing his opponent as he brings him down to 8,700 HP, sitting at around 10,000 himself, so I'm sure he's happy with that trade and gaining that little bit of control over the western side. On the eastern side, we're seeing a different story as Kraken has built a PD over here and kind of just forced back the Dictator, who I don't even know if he really went for an expand or went to try and take over this area, but the Dictator not contesting or fighting the Kraken quite as much as you would expect. Overall, these players are starting to get stuck in with some action. Scouts flying out from Lord Dungus, trying to see everything. A few T1 bombers coming out from Lord Dungus. Not sure what his strategy is, but it does seem as though he wants a lot of T1 air pressure. I'm going to have to see if he can manage to make something big happen. Forgot one of his mass extractors exist. Hopefully he'll remember that soon enough. Over here in the center, player to keep our eyes on, the Duelist. Highest rated player for Team 2, and gonna have to see what his strategery is. Did recently have a replay review and said that he's been applying the things that we talked about with him, and hopefully that helped him out a little bit, or maybe he just already knew all the things he's doing wrong, and the replay review system is just for me to milk money out of you. Who knows? Who knows? There's still people playing FAF, so I'll still continue to try and monetize it, I guess. Over here, down to the middle of the map, damage and range on the way for Citrus 984. Gonna have to see if he can manage to get enough dominance here in the middle to maybe push out one of his competitors, push out either Duelist or Born, maybe get a scalp on them. This game is not full share, it's share until death, so we have to keep in mind that these players gonna be wanting to get some snipes off. Somebody's gonna go for a snipe, and we're gonna try and keep our eyes on it, see exactly how it goes on as we crest the 5 minute mark, the 5.5 minute mark actually, or no, we're almost to the 6 minute mark. What the fuck am I talking about? Jeez, I'm horrible at this. But Citrus leading the charts at 9.2 thousand reclaim, getting about 100 reclaim a second. That's gonna be huge for his team. Overall, both teams getting a decent amount of reclaim, both of them at around 37,000 mass reclaimed, so that's going to be huge for both sides. Overall economies, it seems as though Team 1 is going to be slightly ahead by about 20 mass a second, as Team 2, or never mind, Team 2 might be slightly ahead. It seems to be fluctuating a lot, but overall, both teams either nearing or already at 200 mass a second. Sorry, just hit my microphone. And gonna have to keep an eye on what they want to do. T2 now on the way for the Duelist. Speed and range on the way for Easy AI. Speed and range on the way for Kashyyyk as well. And over here to the east, we have a bit of artillery harassment going down. Going to be taking out that early PD built up by not by Odd Nuts. This was built by the Kraken. Seems as though the Dictator wants to start putting a little bit of pressure on his pink adversary. And his pink ally coming to help him out with that a little bit. Right now, it seems as though Citrus 984 has a pretty dominant army here in the middle. T2 about to finish up for the Duelist. If he does manage to get up a few PD, that may be able to stop this. But right now, it seems as though Citrus is bearing down on the position, mainly of Born, and going to be trying to get some power and map control off this. Maybe even push one of these players back to their core mexes. He continues to push forward. The fight's looking all so beautiful. He's going to continue to fight towards all of these Aurora. The Aurora getting caught out means that they're going to be pretty easy to kill. Pillars trade pretty well with them. The T2 PD is going to slowly whittle down the forces, multiple T2 PD, but now there's artillery and tanks coming in on the position of the Duelist, and he's going to need to worry about this because T2 PD is not the fastest, at least for the UEF, at killing off this T1 spam. In fact, having Cerberus here would be a little bit better because they fire so much faster and can deal with them so much better. The gun damage and range comm coming over and throwing overcharges out for Citrus as he continues to push forward. Duelist in a rough position as he's going to be forced back and off of this position. Some of his allies coming to try and help him out. Between these players, they need to try and force Citrus off. Citrus having such a strong push, but his ally coming in with a ton of T1 units, as is Stumpy, and of course the T1 bombers out from Lord Dungus trying to put fire onto the Duelist. The Duelist under a lot of damage and a lot of pressure right now. Needs to find a way out of this, needs to find a way to deal with his opponents, as he's just going to continue to have to fall back against the overwhelming onslaught of his opponents. He has a T1, T2 PD up still, but Citrus can just walk over and blap it away with an overcharge. He has more units showing up. Team 1 taking in a very aggressive stance, and the Duelist not really able to keep up on the ground game. I'd like to see him maybe try and get up onto this cliff and throw some PD up as this huge fight is going on. If he can get some PD up on the cliff, it gives him a lot more room to work against his opponent, and of course secures that mass extractor for himself. He's going to just decide to fall back as Citrus continues to get value out of the commander here, continues to kill off things, almost up to his second rank of veterancy at nearly 2,300 mass killed. And on the comm, and over here to the east, there's a huge push coming out from the Dictator onto the Kraken, and these two players, they're gonna be scrapping it out, but it looks as though the Kraken is getting the worst of these trades, losing a lot of power. How's that gonna make the Kraken's power situation look? I can't seem to select him. I did just select him, and his power situation is he's almost in a stall, relying on his teammates overflowing. Here in the middle, T2 land now showing up for the Duelist. It's going to be very useful. He's getting a few more PD up. The T2 land units will be able to give him a little bit more buffer for Citrus to use overcharges on that instead of his point defense. The third point defense for the Duelist about to go online now and try and help deal with Citrus 984's comm. And over on the west, a huge fight. Many units of many varieties. There's air units, there's bombers, there's interceptors everywhere. AI Easy and Kashyyyk both sitting on a gun upgrade and going to be able to fight each other. But AI Easy also got T2 on the comm and will be able to tank just a little bit more damage. I think that Kashyyyk needs to get back into the water, otherwise he's going to risk dying here. Down to 6,300 HP in a lot of danger. Over here in the middle, Citrus 984 continuing to pressure the Duelist. Born's going to be showing up with T2 on the comm, going to be showing up, probably going to throw up a few T2 PD. On the eastern side, it seems as though the Kraken has amassed enough of defense here with his point defense to stop the Dictator and Oddnuts from causing him any more damage. Over here to the west, Kashyyyk and AI Easy still at each other's throat. Kashyyyk managing to turn around the fight a little bit, and now AI Easy and Kashyyyk going to be going into the water and going to be fighting with each other. T1 PD going to be thrown up by AI Easy with that T2 upgrade on the comm. Another large push now coming out from Citrus onto the Duelist. The Duelist at half health, but Citrus not doing too well on health himself. He's going to have all of these PD firing at him. Let's see if the range of the Duelist's PD is going to be enough. No, it's really not. Citrus not under massive threat of dying here. T1 Bomber's also going to pour some damage into it. The health will regen slowly at 22 health a second. And he does have some parashields over here, but I think he's no longer going to be able to just push out with his units. He did manage to claim himself a bit of an advantage, and he's also going to do this little bit of PD creeping of his own, as he has these 3 extra mass extractors, and he's sitting on such a strong economy, 96 mass a second. Born, though, on the other side, sitting over 100 already, has an uncapped T3 mechs over here. I wonder if that was a mistake or on purpose, but he needs to cap it. And he is capping a lot of mexes. He has a lot of T3 mexes. He has a lot of eco right now. The Duelist not doing that great on eco, as he's seemingly throwing everything into holding the line. And I think now is a time where he probably wants to sit back and eco, but it seems as though Citrus getting T2 on the comm and now getting Shield on the comm wants to continue to be aggressive with this Rambo comm. Nano repair on the way for AI Easy. He's over here on the western side trying to proclaim his dominance as he shows up with Ilshaba production and Nano repair. He's gonna be a beefy comm, and he's gonna be trying to cause issues. The air players for both sides not really focusing on getting to T3 air. We're 11, almost 12 minutes in right now, and T3 air seemingly an afterthought. We're about to have T3 air finish up for Crazy Cars, but that's the only hint of T3 air coming online as of the moment. Overall economies for the teams, both teams nearing 400 mass a second, and they're going to be able to start duking it out with experimentals in just a matter of minutes. Especially Born. Born is starting to get close to that range of being able to build a Galactic Colossus in a reasonable amount of time. If I could just speak, that would be amazing, considering that's what you all pay me to do, is solely just to speak, and I seem to have trouble with it as of the moment. over to the west of Bourne. Stumpy deciding to get T2 on the comm has come up here, and he's fire basing against both the Duelist and Once Handsome. Once Handsome been a little bit quiet this game, not really been doing much. He has been kind of turtling down here, but he seems as though he's struggling to deal with Stumpy's forces. I think Stumpy could benefit heavily from getting a few deceivers out over here. Some rhinos now showing up for Once Handsome to kill off that shield generator. The Cerberus going to slowly die, and overall it seems as though Stumpy is going to be forced off this position, but I like the initiative. I like him trying to fight off both the Duelist and Once Handsome. Over here to the east, a large T2 force along with Citrus's super beefy Rambo comm set up, but he's walking into so many T2 PD. This is just an inefficient fight. Honestly, I think that he would get a lot more done if he just tried to pressure over on to the units in the base of Kraken. Right now, sure, he's forcing out a lot of mass to be spent on to PD, and he may kill off some of these PD, but there's not really much of a chance of the Duelist and Bourne crumbling here. They just have so much static defense. Citra is going to be getting nailed by Oblivion turrets and maybe the odd Triad fire. It's just a lot of damage coming down onto the comm. He cannot continue to do this. This is sort of becoming a mass donation, because if he does not win this fight, if he does not force the Duelist and Bourne back here, this is a ton of reclaim right here. It's 4,000, and I know the map had 100,000 to start with, but these players have sucked it up almost instantly, sitting at below 37,000 mass on the map. Both teams nearing 100,000 reclaim, and both teams is sort of just fighting it out. Destroyer is now being built by Kraken in this little middle HQ sector. A bunch of Corsairs coming out from Lord Dungus, going to be able to kill off the HQ, but we're going to have at least one Salem Destroyer out on the field causing damage. Seems as though Citrus managed to get a little bit of help, and also just his PD creeping himself. He's going to force back the Duelist, and he's going to force back Bourne a few feet. Going to kill off one mechs, but is that enough? Like, they're going to still be fire basing over here. We have a bunch of Titans now coming onto the field. Sure, they are dying to Triads, but once the Duelist realizes that he doesn't need to be losing units uselessly, he will fold them back. And yeah, it doesn't even lose the Titan. And he's going to be able to produce Titans very quickly. He's still sitting on a reasonable economy, 60 to 70 mass a second. You can definitely afford one factory spamming out all of these units. Over here in the middle, Stumpy just kind of chose Vipers, and he's like, I'm going to throw snakes at you, and you're going to like it, or you're going to die. And he's really going hard on the snakes. He's the snake master. Is Stumpy secretly Snake Mister from all of the FAF discords? I don't think so, but Stumpy really a big fan of Vipers, and I like to see it here as he's breaking the fire base of the Duelist, as Citrus is coming over here with his Rambo comm saying, Salem's not in my neck of the woods. And he's going to come over here and start machine gunning and putting pressure down onto Citrus, who is getting attacked by T3 units. He has one hell of a fire base, but that's kind of about it. So it seems as though the Kraken under a lot of pressure. He may be our first player to fall. We're already almost 15 minutes into the game, or we're past 15 minutes into the game, and we are seeing so many players reach T3 land. The Duelist sacrificing a lot of Titans. I think he needs to abuse the range on the Titans a little bit more than he is currently, as the Titans are going to go down. Might want to switch up to Percival production, as getting a ball of Percivals this early will be huge for him. His opponent just now reaching T3 land, of course his opponent being Citrus 984, and not really mass producing T3 land yet, still has a huge T2 land force. And Citrus, I think, finally deciding that it might be time to fall back, might be time to put his marauding days with the commander behind him. He's going to get into the water. He's going to build a naval factory. We may see him go for those oh-so-powerful missile cruisers. Yes, it is the governor. He's going to try and be diplomatic with his opponents, and between governors, ambassadors, and dukes, there's plenty of tools in the UEF arsenal to be diplomatic. Now, let's go ahead and talk about my favorite faction, and something that we could be seeing very soon. Once Handsome, sitting on a huge economy, I will be surprised if we do not see a monkey very soon. He has hives up. They're upgraded. It's time. Once Handsome, probably going to be busting out the experimental technology very soon. In news with other experimentals, we have a Monkey Lord about to finish up for the Dictator. The Dictator, the lowest economy player for Team 1, but deciding, fuck it, he's going to stall through building a Monkey Lord. And he's going to have it done, and the Kraken doesn't have a solution. This does not kill a Monkey Lord. So the Kraken going to be under huge threat, but the question is, where does he want to use it? And was stalling through building a Monkey Lord worth it? Always important to ask at what cost. He's going to have a Monkey Lord, but is it going to be at expense of something else? Speaking of at expense of something else, the air players on both teams still lazily, I don't know how to say that word, lazily thinking about the air game, not really focusing on it as much as the higher rated players do. They are both at T3 air, but it seems as though Lord Dungus doing a little bit better than Crazy Cars, as both of them have ASF, but Lord Dungus more concerted effort on building ASF. Here in the center, some Titans coming down and wreaking havoc upon the Mantis hordes. And of course, it's very rude to see this kind of cyberbullying going on. Of course, the Cybern Mantis, while amazingly strong and the best T1 unit, other than maybe the Zooey, I say, gritting my teeth, not quite able to put up with the high cost of the Titan, but the Medusa might be able to cause some issues for these Titans. Citrus showing up with the comm, deciding to overcharge a few shots in over here. He's up to T2 Navy, and he's going to start producing those governors that I was talking about earlier. This is a lot of Titans, even for the comm of Citrus to deal with. He does have a really beefy Rambo comm, but these Titans going to dole out a lot of damage. I don't think it's enough to put him in threat of dying, especially with all the assistants around and the loyalists now showing up to try and fight the Titans out from Stumpy. But might be that catalyst he needs to decide that he has been too aggressive with the comm. He's gotten 11.3 mass killed. He is 11.3 thousand mass killed. He has earned retirement for his ACU, and his ACU should probably fall back to the back lines. The Duelist is still trying to fight everything off, but now Percivals are going to be showing up on the field. Has he switched up to Percival production himself? No, he hasn't. He's continuing with Titans. I think that the Duelist needs to take a book out of Icy Nightmare's playbook and start adding parashields and spearheads in. It makes this kind of fight that he's fighting so much easier, especially if you're going to focus on Titans for so long, but eventually he does need to transition into a Percival force. Do they know about the Monkey Lord? And it seems as though they don't. Here soon they will. The Monkey Lord does show up somehow. I guess there's an Omni somewhere around here that lights up that Monkey Lord, and it's gonna be causing an issue. Citrus really should be putting his units to help this Monkey Lord as it just starts waltzing its way towards the base of both Born and the Duelist. There is no Monkey Lord yet started for Once Handsome, so I don't think we're going to be seeing that play that I was trying to predict a little bit ago. But the Dictator having a Monkey Lord seems as though he's going back to ecoing, and he's going to start pushing forward. I'd really like to see Citrus and the units from Citrus and the units from Stumpy try and help out this Monkey Lord. Citrus going to walk up with the comm, but there's no point. You just have a massive T2 army. Support the experimental. Don't leave it out hanging on its own. Let some of your units tank some damage for it. The Monkey Lord, of course, having that high single target DPS means that it's gonna die if it's forced to kind of sit here and do its own thing. It's trying to chase down the comm of Born, but this Monkey Lord's gonna die to Titans and Oblivions because his teammates didn't support it. Why didn't Citrus or Stumpy just send their units with the Monkey Lord? That was a complete mass donation because nobody decided to support the Monkey Lord. Now you've just changed your army into bite-sized pieces. What are you doing? Oh, disaster! As now the T2 army and the T1 army out from Stumpy, they're gonna be committed, but why? Why commit now? You've lost the Monkey Lord. You've lost the hammer that was gonna strike at the heart of your opponents. You have some Percivals. You have this T2 army, but I don't think it's enough. I think they're still turtled up enough. I think there's still enough Titans to deal with the odd Percival. I think there's still enough Oblivion set up here. And I think that this was just a complete bungle of an attack out from Team 1. The units are just going to fall short here, and it's still a massive reclaim field. And I know the Duelist is pretty cognizant of reclaim, and so are, I'm sure, some of these other players. If they had worked together, if they had pushed together with the Monkey Lord, the PD, if it just focuses on the Monkey Lord, then the Monkey Lord is tanking. If it doesn't focus on the Monkey Lord, it's spread out behind a bunch of players. And it's just unfortunate to see, but the breakdown of communication and teamwork there really hurting Team 1 and leaving a huge mass donation on the side over here. Of course, with governors out on the field, we could see Citrus try and deny this reclaim if he really wants to. And oh, I thought that Harvey was going to be a suck boy. I thought he was going to reclaim, deciding not to. And that's a bunch of Fire Beetles now out for Once Handsome, an interesting play. Once Handsome still sitting in his base, still ecoing up. Still on the highest eco this game, but he's just kind of been quiet. We haven't seen him do very much. He has some bricks now coming out onto the field, which is nice to see. But what's the plan, Once Handsome? What are you trying to do? I guess I'll stop criticizing the players, leave that to replay reviews. Over here to the north, a support commander is starting to be built by a variety of players. Overall economies, Lord Dungus, I was wrong. I thought Once Handsome was the highest eco player. Lord Dungus sitting at 250 mass a second. The man is on fire economically. He is going through a boom session of his economy. He is producing all of the mass. He is in the fabled golden times. As very soon we might be seeing some game enders or some spicy technology. As a Fat Boy about to finish up for Citrus, maybe that's why he didn't want to attack, but he did end up throwing away basically all of his army right before getting his own experimental online. Seems as though the Dictator is trying to get his eco back online, and there's a huge economic disparity now. Team 1 over 400 mass a second ahead of Team 2. Team 1 is killing it economically, and Team 2 is struggling. And mass extractors now starting to go down for Kraken, as these governors just proving to be too much for the Kraken. And Citrus finishing up the Fat Boy. This is starting to look like a very, very difficult game for Team 2 to win. So many of their players seemingly kind of sitting around silently, while Team 1 is really making plays happen and putting pressure on their opponents, trying to get victories any way they can. The Duelist and Born still trying pretty hard to hold here in the middle, but that's all they're doing. They're just holding. They're not able to get a huge advantage. They're not able to build up and push out against the units and the attacks of Citrus. They're just able to hold off his attacks for now. And Citrus has been a huge power player this game, just constantly enforcing his will onto the game. Gonna be very interesting to see where he takes it from here, but it looks like he might have the tools necessary to win this. If he can just get a good push with the Fat Boy going on over here. His team has air cover and air supremacy. So overall, Team 2 the onus is on them. They need to find a way out of this economic hole, or find a way to snipe off one of the enemy players, because right now it's feeling like snipes or die, because while fighting straight up, you're just going to start losing. You're just behind. Every metric we can measure shows you as behind. The Duelist going for his own Fat Boy, which is, I think, a good call. Fat Boys, the best way to fight a Fat Boy is with another Fat Boy. The GC finishing up for Born. Didn't even notice he was building one, but this could be huge. If he can manage to get this GC into a position where it kills off a comm or kills off a large portion of the army for Citrus and Stumpy, that could open up a lot of room. The Duelist coming up behind the experimental built up by Born. The GC going to get some support out from the Duelist. Seems as though they're a little bit more on the same page. And of course, Harbingers and Titans, not necessarily the best assault bots, but able to tank a little bit of damage. The Fat Boy showing up and the Fat Boy firing. Gonna need to be a little bit more careful is Born. The Fat Boy is going to be able to be microed pretty well. It doesn't seem as though there's anything else that Citrus really needs to focus on. The Fat Boy providing constant damage. This Firebase in the middle being targeted down by the GC of Born. Stumpy going to lose this hard-fought Firebase, and all of the potential that it may have had is just going to be gone and swept under the rug. A huge fight going on between the Fat Boy and the GC. These players are going to be throwing shots at each other constantly. The Fat Boy being the largest area denial unit in the game. Very good at denying a place for your opponent's army to stand. Very good at just kind of dissuading you from moving forward, because the Fat Boy, it's not great by itself, but when you have something to enforce in front of it, when you have something to put in front of a Fat Boy, it is terrifying. It's easily one of the most scary units in the game whenever you, especially when you get multiple of them, because they can just create this huge field of, hey, do you want to move forward? Well, too damn bad, you're not able to. And the GC forced to fall back with 30,000 HP. The Fat Boy for the Duelist about 30 to 40% done. A Spider finishing up for AI Easy, the Seraphim player with the Rambo comm over here that we really haven't talked about in a little while. But he built the Spider because he knows the superior technology is, of course, that of the Cybran. You just can't deny it. Cybran technology is just better. So he got some Cybran technology from an ally and decided, hey, I'm going to build myself a Monkey Lord. And that's an admirable trait to have, acknowledging that the Seraphim aren't the best call here. I like what I'm seeing out from AI Easy. Over here in the center, the Fat Boy raining hell down upon any units out from Team 2 that dare venture too far forward. Kraken still firebasing. He has possibly the only place where the Fat Boy can't really assail him. And overall, these artillery, I'm sure he's kicking himself for building them, as he is outranged by the Governors built up by Citrus. And Citrus slowly inching forward with the Fat Boy here in the middle. Seems as though he was able to throw enough mass together to get his own Fat Boy with the GC on hand, and the Fat Boy itself also here. Going to be able to see a bit of fighting going on between these two teams, these players here in the middle. Citrus still trying to hammer his way through the middle, and the Fat Boy will be able to be used for defense. I think the Duelist needs to continue to move his army, though. Can't be just losing the Percivals for no reason. Is this reclaim? No, he's repairing the GC with Harbingers, which I didn't even know they could repair, but they can. Interesting. And the Fat Boy out from Citrus it's been taking damage from Vipers. The shield's been taking damage from Vipers, so this Fat Boy out from Citrus is gonna go down. He needs to get parashields on top of it right now. He needs parashields, but he wasn't able to do it, and in conjunction with a few units and a little bit of help, these T2 artillery now built up by Once Handsome means that Citrus loses his Fat Boy there on the front line. Now there's a Fat Boy and a GC on the field. It's time for Born. It's time for the Duelist to finally break out. They finally have a good shot here. They need to communicate with each other. They need to tell each other, hey, I'm gonna push now, help me. Come on. Duelist, I know you speak Pinglish. Go tell your ally to help you out on this push. You don't just use your Fat Boy by yourself. You got this, man. And Citrus going for a nuke launcher, going for that desperation play. I don't know if his opponents have any anti-nuke. This could be pretty huge if it does manage to work out in his favor. Over here, there's a Monkey Lord waiting in the wings for AI Easy, and the same for the Dictator. I don't know why the Dictator deciding not to attack right now with this. Your opponent has a fire base, but it's not nearly enough to stop a Monkey Lord. I would send the Monkey Lord in. Does he just have poor intel over this? Well, he has a pretty good idea of what's over here. In the middle, the GC and the Fat Boy out from the Duelist and Born starting to push forward. And Citrus 984 going to have to fall back. The Navy in the center out from Citrus going to be forced to dissolve very quickly. There was a treaty signed that said he needed to dismantle his naval force, and that treaty was the Duelist-born fuck you treaty. And down here to the east, Kraken is about to crumble. Kraken is going to be taken down to the depths and destroyed by a monkey and a whole bunch of Greek gods of gods. Of course, I'm talking about Titans and the Monkey Lord, and the Kraken, another mythical beast, shall be slayed on the battlefield today, as his comm is within firing distance of the Monkey Lord. The Monkey Lord targeted onto the comm of Kraken. Kraken walks a little bit out of range, but it's just gonna be hopeless. There's too much health on the Monkey Lord. There's nothing here to kill off it. He's trying to get tac missile snipes, but even if that doesn't work, there's enough damage to this fire base. There's these Titans helping over here to deal with it. The Kraken is going to go down to the Monkey Lord, and in the center, the push coming out from the GC, and the Fat Boy, Born and Duelist being the buddy cop duo of the century, just fighting it out, going for themselves. I know I have a cast called the Buddy Cop Cast, and shut up, but Kraken is dead. And Citrus is running with his tail between his legs, as he just doesn't have the force to really stop the GC, the Fat Boy, and all of the units out from Duelist and Born. Though his allies are coming in, we're starting to see some support come out from Stumpy. We're seeing Strat Bombers come out from Lord Dungus. Once Handsome has built an experimental, it is a Monkey Lord of his own. Once Handsome sitting yet again close to the highest economy. The Dictator, though, surpassing him, and so is Lord Dungus. And these players just constantly coming up with new ways to punch each other in the face. But there's nukes coming out from multiple players on Team 1. There's a Liberator built up for Lord Dungus. There is a Stone Ager out for Citrus, and I just don't know if anti-nuke will be built in time, especially by these players in the south. But there's a nuke already over here now for Born, and I think he's the furthest along with his nuke progress. Oh, he's definitely the furthest along with his nuke progress. Citrus has an anti-nuke, but yeah, I mean, that's loaded, actually. A nuke also built for Stumpy. This is about to be Fallout Supreme Commander Edition, as the Monkey Lord snuck behind the forces of the Duelist and of Born. Where did the Fat Boy of the Duelist go? Did it die? No, it's underwater, unable to affect the outcome of this fight. But there's a Monkey Lord now starting to sneak in, and Crazy Car is going to start trying to provide some restorers to help out. But this is looking very desperate. I think that he needs to focus on loading that Apocalypse and firing it anywhere. Is there an anti-nuke built up for almost every player on Team 1 has an anti-nuke? Every player realizing they need it, and every player building it for themselves. The Kraken dying to this Monkey Lord, and very soon it seems as though Born might be the second victim, as the Monkey Lord out from the Dictator is going to show up, and Born is almost within firing range. Born needs to run away. Born, you have to run away. At this point, never mind, don't run away. Just throw an overcharge into it. The Monkey Lord shifting its cannon to fire onto Born. The PD, the T1 PD going to start firing. Born going to try and walk away. The T1 PD were enough. Strategic launch detected. Where's it going? It's going over here towards Pink's base. It's not a loaded anti-nuke. Citrus's comm is right here. Citrus moving his comm. Did he give the move command in time? The nuclear missile flying out. Is Citrus going to be able to get away? He has shield on the comm. Odd Nuts definitely doomed to die here as the engineers block his pathfinding. Is this nuke out from Citrus, out for the comms of both Citrus and Odd Nuts, going to be enough? I think Odd Nuts is definitely doomed to die, and Citrus may also be dead. Did Citrus die there? Yes, Citrus went down. The hero nuke out from Born, managing to get a double scalp, and now it's a 4v4 on the map. Multiple players going down on each side. A Strat Bomber snipe down here on the south. I didn't notice it, but it did indeed happen. On to Crazy Cars, who we can all admit, while he gave it a good effort and his heart was in it, wasn't really a deciding factor in this match so far. and was just behind his opponent. A Soul Ripper now on the way for the Dictator, who's had much success with his Monkey Lord incursions, and Awasa on the way for AI Easy. That double nuke creating a power vacuum here in the middle, but there's Monkey Lords and Fat Boys out from Team 2, and they need to keep the pressure up. They're still over 200 mass, a second behind their opposition. They need to continue with this. At the 33-minute mark, let's check on Reclaim. The numbers are stupid. Team 2 getting the lion's share with over 200,000 Reclaim, bringing them at a... But it's just so insignificant. They have over 90,000 more Reclaim, or almost 90,000 more Reclaim, and they're still behind by almost 500,000 mass in total generation. Admittedly, that number is a bit skewed now, as the mass totals, a lot of that's going to be in units and stuff built up by Citrus and Oddnuts. Citrus was sitting on a pretty significant economy. But overall, these players still needing to fight it out. The chicken out from Kashik, who we haven't really talked about at all this game. Kashik been sitting here building up a very, very pretty fire base. Man, very pretty fire base. And his over here to the west, AI Easy needs to address the fact that there's a chicken walking in on his base. He has an Awasa, it's not going to finish in time. He doesn't have an army. This chicken might be the deciding factor in this game. It's starting to walk forward. AI Easy's calm here in the center. He's fighting the chicken with his calm. Is it going to be enough? He needs to dodge those plasma balls. Eats one to the face. I hate these pings. They make these beautiful cinematic shots less interesting. And the calm of AI Easy goes down to the chicken. A pretty predictable outcome when all things said and done. A Fat Boy war waging in the middle. Strategic launches being detected. This time I'm sure it's from somebody on Team 1. I'm not sure where it's going though. This could be going for the Duelist. It seems to be going for the Firebase and the forward production of Once Handsome, but the Duelist isn't loaded over here. And there's not an anti-nuke for Once Handsome, so that nuke's gonna land, but the question is, how significant is that nuke landing gonna be? Because it doesn't seem like it's gonna do very much. That nuke just created such a vacuum that it seems as though Team 1 unable to recover the mass experimental spam coming out from the Dictator. May be enough. The Lord Dungus still sitting on a huge economy. We could still see a game ender. He's still sitting on a pretty safe position, but it's safe to say Stumpy 47 in dire straits, as kind of just seems like he's not going to be able to fight back against any of this. Another nuke launch, this time going for the Duelist. This anti-nuke shown not to be loaded just a moment ago means that the Duelist seems like a beautiful option, and I think he is gonna end up dying. He's not moving his comm. Does anybody on his team have anti-nuke that can protect him? The Duelist's gonna die after Born getting the beautiful... No! Born saves him! Born, the MVP of the match! Call him Jason, because he's over here secret agenting his way. He's in the CIA, and he is one step ahead, as his action hero moves know no bounds. Born, the Aeon enforcer of this match. Soul Ripper out on the field. Huge battles going on left, right, and center. Everybody firing shots at each other. Nukes being fired. The Liberator nuke launcher was momentarily about to be destroyed. He launches a nuke with its dying breath. Is the anti-nuke loaded still? It's still loaded. The Duelist is gonna live. Despite everything, Born is the savior that the Duelist needed. Born is the man. This game Mass experimental out from the Dictator, seemingly unable to cause enough damage. The Duelist getting into the air game. The Soul Ripper over here getting shot down, whether it was by anti-air or by the ASF out from the Duelist, irrelevant. Lord Dungus asking how are we losing this. He's using nuclear point defense. To try and save himself. But in the end, is it gonna be enough? The nuclear point defense able to kill off multiple experimentals. But now a nuke launch coming in towards him and his anti-nuke was killed! The strategic point defense was not able to save him, but a Monkey Lord now pushing into the main base of Bourne. The anti-nuke under threat, but is there any more nukes left? The nuke out over here gonna be killing off Lord Dungus, and now it's just the Dictator. The Dictator trying desperately to kill off some of the players of Team 2, but just unable to. Mass experimental not working for him. And his teammate getting nuked to oblivion. Was that the comm? Did the comm get away? It's hard to tell when there's nuclear fire on the horizon, but I think that Lord Dungus is dead. That's going to be a rough position for Lord Dungus now. Over here to the east, Monkey Lords aplenty as Strap Bombers coming in trying to kill off support commanders. Not quite going to be successful, but more and more Monkey Lords coming out onto the field, and a lot of experimentals died with that nuke, and a lot of the reclaim. This Soul Ripper went from its full reclaim value to 1,000 with that nuke, which is quite funny to me. Not that reclaim is relevant, as it seems as though Lord Dungus is going to be making one beautiful last stand. Desperation Plays is the name of the game, and I want to see how this one works out. He has 3 spiders versus a chicken, 2 spiders, and a large army coming for him. It's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be a difficult fight. But can he hold out? Another Monkey Lord going to finish momentarily. Can the mass Monkey Lord be the desperation play he needed? No, he needs to go aggressive now. He needs to go focus down that chicken. He has to kill the chicken, and he has to kill these 2 Monkey Lords, and he needs the Percival to die too. These players fighting out a beautiful battle, but the chicken gonna prove too much. The double Monkey Lord coming towards the base gonna prove to be the nails in the coffin for the Dictator, who has created so many experimentals this game. It's kind of ridiculous. A support commander going up in flames. Teleporter now on the way for Lord Dungus. Laser on the way. Is he going to be able to make it happen? T3 artillery finishing up. Lord Dictator, or not Lord Dictator, the Dictator. Control Kang. A strat snipe. Desperation play coming out from Lord Dungus towards, I would guess, Kashyyyk. But there's now enough ASF out from Bourne and the Duelist to deal with this. And is there artillery shots landing off map? Is that what we're seeing here? I hate when that happens. The Telemazer. Where is he teleporting to? He's teleporting to the base of Orange. Gonna go out in a blaze of glory instead of going out with a whimper of sadness. The point defense over here dying somehow. I'm guessing there was some kind of experimental or airplay that led to that. But the comm gonna teleport in, and this seemingly going to be the resting place of Lord Dungus.
Strategic launch detected.
That nuke coming out from Bourne. The man who won the game was Bourne, but Lord Dungus, the Dictator, Citrus, and all of the players on Team 1. AI Easy put in one hell of a fight and made this game one hell of a series. The laser firing up into the sky is quite funny, not gonna lie. Did my first nuke kill 2? Asks Born, and yes it did. Lord Dungus, fighting out to the last. We're gonna go ahead and track the comm, and I'm gonna stop talking. Thank you to my patrons who make these series so much more fun to make and so much more amazing. You all have been beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, like, comment, subscribe, dislike if you didn't like it, and leave me anything you want to see in the future in the comments. Bye-bye!